Hi again. I it's Merlin. If you're old enough to remember what this is, then you probably have fond memories of it. But this is what uh, this is what kids my age used to do for amusement. This was a hot item back then. It's one of the first electronic handheld games. Got a little speaker up here. It's got this little touchpad buttons, and they have LEDs behind them that light up, and it has games in it like tic-tac-toe and blackjack, and let's see, it used to, let's see if it says on the back. I remember looking on the back and reading what it would do. It says button 1 is tic-tac-toe, button 2 is something called music machine, button number 3 is echo, which if I remember correctly, was like a memory game. It would spit out a pattern of lights and tones, and you'd have to repeat it. Button number 4 is blackjack. Number 5 is magic square. I don't remember what that is. Button 6 is mind bender. Copyright 1978 by Parker Brothers. And this is Merlin. And so I found this out in a junk pile in the barn in our place we moved into here, and I was really excited to find it because I haven't seen one of these since I was a kid, and it's ew, look at it. Ugh, pieces are falling out of it. I already got rid of the batteries, but they were still in there, just making the problem worse. So if we can clean this thing up and make it work again, it'd just be hilarious for me, and hopefully you guys will be amused by it too. So let's tear it down, clean it up, see if we can repair whatever's damaged in there and make it work again. That ought to be a hoot. Well, that is very interesting. TMS 1100, date code 23rd week 1978. Now, I thought there'd be more discrete parts for this, but that's really all there is that chip, a few passives, some LEDs, and then of course your keypad. But that thing is I had to look it up. It's a PMOS microcontroller with a 4-bit data word, 1 kilobyte of address space, 300 kilohertz clock, 43 standard instructions, and 1024 micro instructions, 2K a ROM, 64 bytes of RAM. Very interesting indeed. That's not what I expected to see in there. So let's see what we can do about just de-corroding. I got a wire broken loose here from the funky battery connectors. Maybe we can save them. Let's just try scrubbing all those out. And the board doesn't look damaged though. The keypad seems to be intact, so let's just clean it up and see if we can get it to power up. Just a little little slurry here of baking soda and water. Look at that. Little bits of metal are just falling off. Scrubbing it with the toothbrush, the little contact fingers are just breaking off. I'm not sure how much. Not sure this is worth doing. I'll just find a way to replace these with something else. Yeah, these things are just coming out in pieces. It's just nothing holding them together anymore. I don't know. So now, those old, all these old battery contacts just came out in pieces. There's nothing left to work with, so got to replace those with something. And started looking at these little springs and some other little bits I got from a fax machine I parted out recently, and they'll just kind of sit there if I bend them into shape to take up the two spaces where each of these batteries are gonna go. I can get it's like I can get one there and there to join those two and these two together. Do the same thing on the other side, or here and here, and get everything back in series. I just gotta play around with these, or I got some paper clips. It's probably made of the same stuff as that spring. I don't know, I got a canning jar lid on. It's probably got some tin to it. I might be able to solder that actually, so that'd be good if I could do something with that. What else have I got here? This little, that's, I'm not sure what that is. Could be tin, feels kind of aluminum-y. Well, that could be good. A little spring strap. Again, don't know if I could solder that, but make something out of that. Little bits and pieces of ground strap stuff. More little springs and tabs. I'll figure out some way of making something that's semi-permanent on there. Maybe glue it down so it doesn't fall out, and we'll be back in business. Yeah, I can get 3 volts out of that. It might work. Dodgy, but it might work. Keep playing around with that. That's not exactly convenient to use, but there's 6.5 volts in that. It looks like it might work. I'll keep playing with that. Okay, I played around with that and it looks like it's going to work, although it's kind of cheesy. I've got my positive wire attached. I replaced this wire on the board, just soldered in a new piece of wire and soldered it to this little spring. I think I can wedge that spring down in there, make my last connection, and fingers crossed, see if it'll power up. Okay, well, that gives me 9 volts, so there's my power. Something's not switching on though. Maybe it's my switch. Maybe my ground wire. What's going on here? Oh. Eight volts difference between here and here. And that's just one, that's just a trace right there. It must be open somewhere. Well, that'll never work. So look here, I've got my ground wire here. Sorry, I'm out of frame. Here, this is where my ground wire comes in, the negative side of my battery, and this pad over here, and they are attached directly to one another. That's just a track between the two of them, and I've got 7 volts 7 volts difference between those 2 points. 8.3. Yeah, most of my supply voltage difference across that board tray. It's got little cracks in it from all the corrosion. I can jump across that with a an alligator clip, I think. Turn it on. Let's just jump that. Got it to beep. So let me just run a bodge wire between those 2 points and see what we get. Okay, a little yellow wire to eliminate that track that must be cracked, and yay! Sounds like it's gonna work. Let me do something a little more permanent with this mess. The case right here, where I was working with these springs, I was just hooking them onto the edge of the case, and that piece of the case broke and fell out right in that edge there, so I gotta wedge something else in there to hold my spring in place. And then I think I can stick it back together, and that'll be good enough for what it is. So I just wedged a piece of copper board, just trimmed it down to fit in there and act as a battery connector for me, a contact point there. And I can get it to power on now, but it's not working. Let's see if I can get it to switch on. I'm not sure it's supposed to just sit there and blink that top LED like that.
what you're supposed to be able to do is press the new game button and then say button number 1 for tic-tac-toe, or number 2 for this game or that game, but none of the buttons work. None of the buttons work at all. Put it down. There we go. No buttons do anything, and if you caught it on power up, switch it off, power cycle it again, that this whole row on the right doesn't light up, right? So I think it's just in some condition, just trying to report an error with that blinking light. It's trying to tell us something's wrong. So I'll bet there are more tracks on that circuit board that are eroded away, and if I get in there and start looking around closely or measuring, I'll find more damage to the board. So I'll get it back apart and have a look and see what else we can find. I'll bet the ground path for this entire row of that matrix is broken, so maybe if we can correct that and get it all lighting up again like it should, it'll start working again. So we're looking for more broken tracks on this board, and these 3 components here are the LEDs on the right side that didn't light up, and this is the bottom one that didn't light up either, where I've already got one wire there, and just checking some of these tracks, some of these other tracks. Yeah, 12 meg on that one. Yeah, that's not great. I can get through the solder mask on this thing and see where it's broken. Well, doesn't much matter. I'm just going to replace it with a wire. I'll just wire past that. Alright, so there's one problem, and these LEDs are all connected in parallel to ground, and that's good, and that one's okay. So there's one. This one here is a problem. This looks like the positive going, the positive voltage, and it comes all the way back to, actually I forget where this comes out. Yeah, here. No, I'll just put a wire across there and call it a day. But that's what happens when you leave batteries in for, oh, who knows how long it's been sitting out there in the weather, in the leaky, drafty barn with leaking batteries. Yeah, the break is somewhere in between these 2 points. So I could just scrape all this down and lay a wire on it. Maybe I will. I checked all the little pins between the keyboard matrix and the microcontroller there, and they all seem to be good, and the ones up this side seem to be okay. So maybe that'll be the only troubles we have. Let me do a repair here and here. Power it up again, and I think we'll be in business. Oh no. Look, my the casing is just falling apart. The more I mess with it, the plastic's just breaking left and right. It's so brittle. I don't know if this is going to hold together long enough for me to get a test in. Oh, it's so fiddly. Let's see. I didn't see if I got all my lights or not. Try again. Yeah, I got all my lights now. New game? No. Oh no. Still something not right. How does this thing work? It's a little keypad sandwich. Okay. No. Oops, battery fell out. Okay, I'm abandoning the battery holder rework for the moment. It's just breaking up into little pieces. I've got a lot less material to work with now. It's just, you know, chunks of plastic are falling out of it. It's not holding the batteries in anymore, so that is now secondary objective while I see if this thing is ever going to work again. So I've got a proper AA holder with my 6 batteries in it, and I should be able to attach there, and let's see, which way does that go? To that one, and over to here, and out there, or here actually, and that should give me my 6 volts. Go. And I'll attach there, and looks like here. Right. Powered up. Not much going on there. I got my polarity right, didn't I? Yeah, +6, okay. How about here? Doesn't power up. Oh wait, something's wrong. That should be 9 volts, not 6. What have I done here? Need to be there. Six. What's going on here? This is an 8-cell holder, so I'm just trying to find the I got some batteries in backwards. Hang on, I think I see it. Ah, that'll do it. There, 9.64. Okay. No mistake. Attach there. Attach. Let's see, get it on there. Power. Yes. Alright, we still got our weird blinking light there. But all of our buttons light up. No response. Oh boy. It looks like a conductive film on the top side and another on the bottom side that meet when you press the button, but it's freaking out over something. Maybe it thinks we have a button held down or something. See if I can make some airspace in between these and turn it on. Doesn't seem to care. So it's clear that it's no longer reading input from the keypad. Everything else seems to work, but it's not catching button presses. So before I start scoping the outputs of this chip and watching it scan, I decided to pull this all apart, and you can see, I hope you can see the get a little zoom there. Sorry, this is not ideal. You can see where the corrosion has gotten to these pads, and yeah, I think most of the conductive stuff is gone from a few of these tracks. So yeah, I don't know, that might be all we can do, unless we can figure out some conductive goo to paint on here to try to bring this keypad back or replace it with something else. Have to think about that one in a minute. Well, painted into a corner now. I've got to do something about this. Here's the keypad matrix, and you can see, you know, some of those are still intact and others are, I mean, there is just barely anything there. They're phone. Right, those are just rotted away from the battery corrosion in several places. So I've got to do something about that, or it's hopeless. I'm kind of stumped for what to do about it. Oh, by the way, some of the astute observer may notice a little continuity problem between now and when I started this video. Couldn't be helped. The tracks on here feel like they're some kind of, they might be silver powder or who knows, lead back in '78. I remember a pen. It was like an ink pen made by Circuit Works back years and years ago for repairing circuit boards. If you had a burned up track, you could clean the board up, and I went as far as putting new fiberglass in the hole that had burned in a circuit board, and then just draw a new trace on the board with this silver pen. It was silver impregnated ink, some kind of stuff, and you could actually solder to it once you know, at low temperatures, about 300 degrees, you could solder to this stuff once it had dried. So I'm thinking about using that. But if I need suggestions, if anybody knows of something better that's come along in recent years, or some homemade remedy that I could paint on there with a paintbrush, give me suggestions. And please no just, hey, let me Google that for you and send me a bunch of results. Give me actual experience. I want testimonials. If you know something that you have tried and have success with, put it down there in the comments. Send me an email from the website, whatever. Just let me know, share with me, and I'll give it a try, and we'll pick this up in a week or two when I get some kind of stuff tested. All right, give me a thumbs up